Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Getting Started with Text SMS Marketing in Constant Contact. Thanks for joining today. Before we dive into SMS specifically, I want to just share everything that Constant Contact does. We have a whole marketing platform of tools that you can use, and some of them will actually kind of come into play with our SMS strategy today. So we have our tools for creating great looking email marketing campaigns, probably the biggest thing we're known for. And then you can actually automate your email marketing. So we have automation tools, and you can automate your text SMS marketing as well with those tools. So that can be very useful. We also have list growth tools to help you grow your contact lists. We'll actually be talking quite a bit about that today. We'll dive into creating a sign up form and just ways to grow a text messaging list. So, great tools available there. We also have digital ads that you can run for Google, Facebook, and Instagram. You can do our SMS texting, which is obviously what we're talking about today. And then also with social media, you can post to Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and TikTok now. You can reply to social messages and get some social media analytics as well. And we even have more. So we have all these tools and features and our expert guidance you need to help you succeed all in one marketing platform for you. And like I said, we'll be seeing how some of these things come together today. So, with that, let's dive in and talk about text marketing. So, everyone has a smartphone with them at all times, pretty much. I'm sure yours is sitting next to you now, or maybe you're even watching this webinar on your phone. So, it's a really valuable opportunity to reach people where they are, namely on social media, email, and then text message, what we're here to talk about today. And all of these channels are really good and helpful and important to have in your marketing mix. For example, social media allows you to reach out to new audiences, but sometimes algorithms can limit your reach. Email does let you communicate with your audience directly, but you are fighting for space there in their inbox and competing against all the other emails they're checking in a day. And then text, or we call it SMS, kind of use those two terms interchangeably. But text is personal and immediate. When someone gets a text message, they're usually checking it pretty quickly right away. You do have to be careful with that, though. Don't text too much, or you'll turn people off. And I actually have a few stats to share about text marketing just to kind of show the effectiveness of it. First of all, we know that 93% of consumers are interested in signing up for text messages. A cross channel marketing approach can boost average users' lifetime by 76%. So, by using more than one marketing channel, your customers are staying with you longer. And then, according to our Small Business Now report, email and text messages are the two most helpful communications when consumers are making a decision about making a purchase. So, with all that in mind, let's take a look at our agenda and see more specifically what we're going to cover today. We'll start out by talking about getting creative with text marketing for your business. So, we have some tips and ideas and best practices. Then we'll move into talking about how to grow your list. So, like I said, we'll talk about some strategies and then look at some list growth tools. And then we have a live demo. We're going to look at quite a few things in the account, including how to create and send text messages, upload lists, and those sign up forms and more. So, we'll get to dig into a lot of good things. Before we do that, just a quick formal introduction. My name's Caitlin. I'm a content manager of webinars here at Constant Contact. I've been here about 12 years, so I have a lot of experience with the platform and digital marketing, and I'm here to just bring my experience to the session. And I want to answer your questions today. So if anything comes to mind as we're going through, you don't have to wait till the end, although we'll have a little bit of time at the end, but click over to the Q&A tab on the right side, type in your question, and then I'll keep an eye on our Q&A window and answer those as those come in. You won't see each other's questions, so if you're not seeing anything over there, that's why. But don't hesitate to send in your own questions, and we'll make sure to get you all the knowledge you need before we wrap up today. But with all that said, let's dive in. We'll get started talking about getting creative with text marketing. So let's talk for a moment about how text should work in your overall marketing strategy. All the channels have their own strengths for when you want to use them and when you want to send. And text marketing is just yet another channel to add into the mix. So it's not about using text or social or email. It's about using them all together so that you reach people in the channels that they prefer. And you can definitely use them all together, and we recommend using them all together. But there are strategic ways to use each one on its own as well. So, for example, with social media, you want to use this when you want to get beyond your email list and your text list. You're looking to drive engagement, reach new people, and you're doing it in public. And then with email, you want to use this when you need to reach your audience directly. Also, if you have a more robust message to share, if you need to share more detail, more text, more pictures, links, things like that, that's what email is good for. And then text is good for when you have something immediate or exclusive to share, and something that can be communicated in a short message as well. And you definitely want to use them all together. Like I said, there's ways to do that. So you could start a conversation on social media about a topic, then follow up via email, going more in depth on that topic and talking to your audience directly. And then with a text message, you could call out something urgent or exclusive pertaining to that topic. Maybe a reminder or a deadline or something they need to know immediately about that campaign. And here's a few tips to keep your text marketing on track. First of all, you always want to identify yourself. Making sure you're using a name that's recognizable will keep you top of mind, and you have better results because they know exactly who the text message is coming from, and they'll be more likely to read it. It's important to stay timely and relevant as well. It's good for current events or happenings. For example, here in Colorado, we get snowstorms in the winter, and sometimes businesses have to close early or are closed for the day. Text message is good to communicate that quick, urgent message to an audience. And then do remain consistent. Send at least once a month so that they don't forget that they received text from you in the past and that they signed up for your text list. And you do have to be concise. So each text message has a 160 character limit, including spaces. So you have just a few characters to work with when you're sending out these messages. And a few other tips to remember are be exclusive. So offer something here that they can't get anywhere else. If they're already on your email list and following you on social media, they need a reason to sign up for your text messages as well. They should get something exclusive and valuable. There's a good example here on the screen of bringing value. This is from a hair salon. They send out hairstyle tips every once in a while, so it doesn't always have to be a promotional message. And then be personal, use their name, and keep it conversational. Act like you're just talking directly to them. So, with all that in mind, now let's talk about some ideas of messages you could send to get the ball rolling. And as I just said, you want people to have a reason to sign up for your text messages. So provide something valuable, It could be maybe they get first access to a product that you're launching on your website, or they get a promo code that people who are just following you on social media don't, or they just hear about things first before the rest of your audience. Just provide some sort of value in that regard. It's good for reminders, so send reminders about sales or anything else going on, including events. A reminder about an event or an invitation to an event can be really effective, or even a reminder right before the event starts can be helpful. And it's good as a follow-up as well. So maybe after a purchase or an interaction, you could send them a text message asking for feedback. So include a link to a survey or point them towards your Google business profile or things like that. Okay, so we have some best practices, we have some tips. Let's dive in and talk about how to get people on a text list, because, of course, you need a group of people to send text messages to before you can start the sending itself. Just like with email marketing, there are laws and regulations surrounding text marketing. The good news is Constant Contact does make it easy for you to get the permission that's required and remain compliant with these requirements. But the first thing to really remember is, yes, these people do need to opt in to receiving these communications. Just because you have someone's phone number for whatever reason doesn't necessarily mean they want to be on your text list or receive text messages from your business. So they do have to let you know explicitly that they want to receive text messages from you. So when you're thinking about this list growth strategy, getting people to opt in and give you permission to text them, it can be important to understand why people might sign up for a list. They generally sign up to receive promotions and discounts, or maybe some sort of exclusive content. You don't have a lot of space to work with in a text message, but you could send them a link to like an ebook or a guide or a list of tips to do something. And then some people just want to stay updated, especially if you're a nonprofit or a new business. They just want to support you and stay up to date with the happenings and everything that's going on. So when you're having them opt in through a sign up form or otherwise, just let them know the value. Let them know what you're providing to encourage them to sign up. Aside from that, there's a few other best practices you'll want to keep in mind for growing your list. First, set clear expectations. Letting them know what's in it for them is important, and also make sure they know up front approximately how many messages you'll be sending, how to opt out, and you're going to need to include the necessary disclaimers with a privacy policy and terms of service. Now, we have more information on all of that. There's a handouts tab on the right side of your screen. Download the PDF in there. We have a ton of good links, and there's a couple that talk about the privacy policy in terms of service. If you don't have one, it has an example. There's ways for us to generate it for you as you're registering. So dig into that information afterwards if you're not quite sure what direction to go with that. But with these things here, with these best practices, you can accomplish them all by using our sign up landing page form. This is a standalone web page that you can create in your account, and it allows you to collect signups for email and text message. And then on there, there's some fine print. You can see it here on the slide. That's already on the form. So that's the verbiage that's required by law. It'll already be on there, and you'll have your links to your privacy policy and terms of service included as well. It is also a really good idea to invite your email list to sign up. You may have email addresses for a big group of people, but don't have their phone numbers yet. So you could write an email, link to that sign up landing page, which, by the way, we are going to do a walkthrough on how to work with that. Put that in an email, send it up or send it out, and then they can sign up. And just make sure to include in that email the value of them signing up, especially since they're already on your email list. You want them to see the value of also receiving text messages from you. So the process, once someone fills out that sign up form, is first of all, they'll get an automated text message to the number they filled out. And it's just says, thank you for your interest. And it asks them to confirm that they want to be subscribed. They need to reply with the word yes. So when they text yes, then they receive this final text message that confirms that they're signed up. And then it also lets them know how many messages they'll receive from you. If someone wants to unsubscribe, they just text the word stop, and it'll take them out of the text list. Their email will still be on your list, though. That's a common question we get. They would have to unsubscribe from your emails through an actual email. They can also text the word help, and then they get an automated message with your website and phone number that they can call to get in touch with you. And that pulls from information you fill out when you're registering for SMS. So then from there, once they complete this process, they're an active member of your text list, and you can start sending text messages to them. So now that we're at that point where someone has signed up, we have a list going, we have some content ideas. Let's log into Constant Contact and go through a few demos. There's probably like 4 main things, I would say. One is we're going to start out by talking about the registration process. So there is a way to register for this, get it all set up in your account. We'll actually watch a quick tutorial video for that. It can take up to 7 days to approve. So we'll watch the video so you can see that process. And then we'll go in a live account, talk about uploading contacts and how to grow your list. And then we'll do a demo on how to actually send the text messages. And then we'll quickly look at the reporting options that you get as well. So let me pull up this video on the registration process. We'll watch that. It's just a minute or 2 long. And then we'll come back and do a live walkthrough in an account.
In this short video, we'll show you how to register for SMS. To begin, click Channels and choose SMS from the drop-down. From there, click Add SMS. Choose how many SMS messages you'll roughly want to send each month, then click Add SMS. Once you've added it to your account, you then need to register for your sending number. Click Start Registration to begin. Then, fill out your business information. Your business information needs to match what is on your tax forms. If they don't match, your SMS registration will be rejected. Next, add your SMS terms. Mobile carriers require SMS-specific terms of service and privacy policy documents. We can either generate them for you, or you can upload your own. Next, mobile carriers ask to see example texts you might send. We wrote some for you, but you can customize them as needed. Lastly, review all of your information. Make sure everything is correct and edit as necessary. Click the checkbox to agree to our terms and conditions, and then click Submit Registration. Your registration has now been submitted and can take up to 5 to 7 business days to be approved. Once your registration is approved, you can begin creating SMS communications. While you're waiting to be approved, check out our next video tutorial on how to generate SMS subscribers.
All right, so just a few things to reiterate from the video, and then we'll dive into our account here and look at a few other things. So just a reminder that it can take up to 5 to 7 days to go through, like the video said. So do give yourself some time for this to be completed. It actually all goes through a third party, so it confirms that the business is legitimate based on the EIN and the other information you give. So these tools won't be active until that's complete. So you want to get that taken care of right away. Another reminder, if you have questions on the terms of service and privacy policy requirements, check out our handout. As you saw, it can also generate them for you automatically, so that makes it very easy. But then once it's all set up and approved, you can start using all of the different features. So let's dive into that. The first thing I want to show you is that landing page sign-up form I talked about. So let's click over here. I'm on just the home page right now, the dashboard in an account. I'm going to go to my landing pages tab on the left side. And once your registration goes through, something that's generated for you is this landing page sign-up form. So you get one automatically made. To just preview this here, let's take a look. So what it'll do is it'll type just a little bit of verbiage at the top. And I have a few different versions of it. Let's look at this one. This one has a little bit more information. So it has like a headline, a little bit of text. It always puts first and last name and email address. And then the person filling out this form can check this box and type in their phone number as well. And then that verbiage I was talking about that's required by law, that's down here. So on there automatically. And there's even the little bit of verbiage that goes along with email subscriptions as well. And then that's all they need to do is fill this out and they'll be on your list. So if you want to share this, you would actually click into the name of it. And that's where we're going to be able to find the option to share this here in the top right. You can post it on social media. So Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and LinkedIn is what we integrate with. Usually URLs aren't clickable on Instagram or TikTok, I don't think. So that you'd want to do like a link in bio type thing. But, we can help get some of the posts out there. You can share in an email, which we'll actually look at that in a minute. We even have a QR code. So you could download this, print it out, and have people sign up on their phones, maybe at an event or put it on a sign or something like that. But then that's all you have to do. Here's the link itself, too, if you just want to copy and paste it and put it somewhere. So you share that out, people go to this page, sign up, and they're on your list. I see a question here from Taylor. How do I edit that form? Can I add anything to it? Yeah, that's a great question. And with this auto-generated one, you actually can't edit it. So it's all made for you. It's live, it's active, but no edits can be made. But that's okay because you can also just create your own and make it a little bit more custom. So if I wanted to do that, I could click back here on landing pages. And on this page, I would just click to create a landing page. And here's the sign up landing page. So looking at this, the editor is exactly like creating an email with Constant Contact, if you're familiar with that. So you get this to start out with. You can click into these text boxes to change the text. You can bring in pictures. So maybe I want come here to images and I could drag in a logo. So it's click, hold down your mouse, drag, drop, put a logo in there. And then this one by default has first name, last name, and email. So I would want to click into this actual block here. And then I can add other fields, including SMS Marketing Opt-in, which you'll see phone number and SMS Marketing Opt-in. Don't do phone number, do this one, because this is the one that's specifically tied to our SMS tool. So then that'll add that same checkbox here. You can make it required or not. Either email or SMS opt-in can be required, not both. And then you just click done. And then I would want to choose a list to save them to. So if we have an SMS list, we can do that, which by the way, the auto-generated form, you can see there's actually a list called auto-generated. The full name of it is auto-generated SMS list or something like that. So there's also a list that's auto-generated too. but I'm going to choose this one. I could create a new one as well. Maybe I could even add their birthday. You can drag and drop from the left side as well. So if I wanted this towards the bottom, I could do that. And then maybe I set up an automated birthday text on their birthday. That's actually something you can do with our automation tool. So you can get very specific with this method. And then you can even do things like, if we click out of here, go to design and add some colors as well. If I wanted to do the orange and different things like that. So then once you have that looking the way you want, you would just continue on. There's even a thank you page that thanks them for signing up. So you can make your same tweaks here. Put the logo in. You can change this text. It's just a text box, a regular text box. So click into it and type whatever you want. And then continue. And then there's a few other settings you can fill out. Then you'll activate it. And then it's live. And then it has all those same share options that the other one did. So my advice would be you could start with the auto-generated one just to get the ball rolling, get things out there, save yourself some time. But then maybe at some point you would want to come in and create a more custom one so you can tailor it to what you're doing, like the asking for the birthday information and making it a little more branded and things like that. But either option works perfectly. And then once again, there's the share options. So share it out and get people to join your list. Another way to get people to sign up for your list, and this one is specific to the SMS tool. So if you're signed up for our SMS product, you're registered, you can use this other method, which we can find under sign up forms. This is going to be our text to join. So this will actually allow people to sign up for your text list from their phone through text message. So if I were to come create a sign up form, and I have all my different sign up options, we actually have a whole webinar on list growth if you're interested in diving into this more. I can tell you about that a little bit later. But here's the text to join. And this is very easy to set up. So the way this works, and it tells you here in this blue box, you're going to give your contacts some instructions. What you tell them to do is text the word join and their email address to, and then everyone is assigned their own phone number. So you in your account would have a different phone number here. So then over here on the right, this shows what it looks like. So they would text the word join and their email address. They don't have to include their phone number because they're texting from a phone, and then we're able to capture that. So then when they text that in, the email address is saved, the phone number they're texting from is saved. So just choose what list you want that all saved into. I could go with that same list as before. There's an automated welcome message they get when they send that text in, and that's just confirming that they're subscribed. And then this is the message here for they can, once again, type the word stop to unsubscribe. And that is actually not editable just because we need to keep the verbiage exactly the way it is to be compliant with the different laws. So all you have to do really is choose the list and activate it and then start giving people these instructions. This is also good for printed materials or events, or if you're just verbally, networking, talking to someone, you could say, hey, I actually send regular text updates. Do you want to get on that list? And if they're like, sure, then you could say, okay, pull out your phone, text the word join and your email address to this number, and that'll add you. So it's very convenient. All right. Moving right along, that's how to get new contacts. If you want to add any existing contacts, so if you have people that have let you know it's okay to text them, whether you've used another texting program before or there's just some other written method that they have given you permission to text them, you can upload a list of contacts. So that is on the contacts page. So let's head there. And what you would do is just click to add your contacts and upload from a file. If you've uploaded email contacts, this is the same exact thing. So let me pull up a spreadsheet here. So this is the file I'm going to upload. By default, you need, I'm going to make these columns bigger. You need an email address or an SMS phone number in order to upload a list. You can definitely have both, as I do here. And if you do have the SMS phone number column, you do need another column called SMS consent date. So this is the date that you got permission to text them. Just, try to locate an approximate date, whether they wrote it down on a intake form for your business or have opted in through another way. Put that date there. And then you can add any other information you want too. Like I have first name, last name, and zip code as well. I can use that for personalization and segmentation later. So if I come back here and actually select that list, let me find it. Then we continue. Then this pulls up with the very left column is my labels that I had in my spreadsheet. So it is helpful to label each column. So we're seeing that. The second column is the first few rows of data I had in the spreadsheet in that column. So I get to see at a glance what I had in there. And then we need to take that information and match it up with the constant contact field. So how do we want this saved in constant contact? The system does label it for you. It tries to find a label that's close, so it saves you some time. So we just need to compare and make sure this is all correct. So first name, these are in fact first names. It has been labeled first name. We're good to go. And then if we just skim through, they all look correct. So then I can continue. Then I have to check two boxes. One, that I have permission to email them, and another that I have permission to text them. And then let's choose our list. Do that same list there. And then import it. And it's as easy as that. So then I can just bring in that list and have a small group of people to start texting right away. So let's take a look quickly at what this looks like in our contacts. So if I were to come actually to my list and segments tab, that's where I can see all my lists. And then if I wanted to narrow in here on my SMS list, that's the one I put on all my sign-up forms. And then this is the one I just uploaded the contacts to. Now we see them in here. You can change the view of this page. I always like to point this out because it's a little bit of a hidden feature. You can come here to this settings wheel because right now it's just showing email address and names pretty much. So I can have it include the SMS number and status. And then I can maybe even I want the phone number right next to the email address. So then you can see what that looks like here. Status is just, are they subscribed? Are they unsubscribed? This is showing them all. If I want to focus just on my subscribed, oh, that's the wrong one, all subscribed, then we'll see those there. All right, so that covers contacts. So we've looked at how to grow the list. We've looked at how to upload a list. I'll click into the contacts so you can see what it looks like on an individual level. So that's their email address, their SMS number, and then it does note that they are subscribed there. If they unsubscribe, then it would adjust on this screen here. Now, if you have an email list, but you don't have their phone numbers, I gave this suggestion earlier, you can send them an email. and then ask them to sign up from the email. So I want to show you quickly how to do that because we actually have a template. I'm going to go over to the emails tab. We have a template. When I click create an email, this is pulling up our template picker for all of the emails you can create in Constant Contact. And the easiest way to get to it is just to come to our little search and search for SMS. And then this is what it looks like. And you can do this in any email, but if you just need a starting point, this is a good one. So you just would fill in your logo, put in some info, link this up to the landing page, and send it out. So I actually have an example. I took this template ahead of time and put something together. So let me go back to my emails. And let's pull this one up. So Jack's Backyard Barbecue, a barbecue restaurant, is reaching out to their subscribers. They're starting a new text, communication program, and they want to offer this to their email subscribers. So we took that template I just showed you, added the color, added the logo. We did edit the text a little bit. This is where I was saying earlier, you need to offer value, something exclusive. So they get 10% off their next meal if they sign up for our text list. We state that in the headline, and then we have a little bit of a paragraph here talking about that as well. And now the only thing we have left to do is take this button and link it up to the sign up landing page. So if I click on that, here's where you add a link to the button. And then I would choose landing page as my option. So I don't even have to go find the URL. I just choose landing page, choose the one I made in my account. The auto-generated one will show up, or if you made one, and then insert it. And then that's it. Go through, send it out to your email list, and people can start signing up. All right, let's switch gears, which, by the way, if you have any questions, I know we're flying through all this, so type that in the Q&A tab there on the right side of your screen. But with all that in place, this took up a lot of our demo, but I think that's where most of the work happens actually, is registering for SMS and then getting your list ready. Once you have that all in place, sending the text messages is very quick and easy. So let's do that now. We'll come back to our channels, click on SMS, and then we want to create an SMS. Once again, SMS and text message are terms we use interchangeably. So then this is just like a message, a campaign that you're creating and sending out. So I could rename it here in the top left. It's just showing as a untitled campaign. We could say Jack's Barbecue Updates. Put today's date. All right. The sender name is already filled out for you. So that happened during that registration process, which one thing that it called out for you there is you do have to use your full legal business name when you're registering, but then there's actually going to be another separate place where you can indicate what the sender name is. So they could be the same or different. If you're registered under a different legal name, but your business is slightly different from that name, that's okay. Just set your sender name what you want it to be during the registration process, and then that's what will show up here. So then in this box, we write our message. There's a few things to keep in mind here. First, be concise. You can see the character limit is here, 160 characters. And 47 characters are already used, actually, because there's this reply stop to unsubscribe message. That has to be in every message. It's a requirement to be compliant. They need to know that they can opt out. So that does have to be in there. If you go over the character limit, it will let you. it'll just be more than one message that you're sending at that point, which it doesn't show up as separate messages on their phone. It usually will just show up as one longer message, but that'll count against your overall send number that month. We'll talk about in a minute how the billing works, but what you're paying for is the number of messages you send. So if you have a longer message, if it's 2 messages per person instead of 1, it just counts more towards your billing number. You'll see what I mean in a minute. So if you can keep it to a single message, that's great. If not, just remember, keep track of how many you're sending and what you're being billed for. So let's do our message. You can type whatever you want here, or as you can see, we have a little AI content generator that we can try out here. So this could be an announcement, a reminder, or a product promotion. We'll leave it on announcement. And let's say, so we have a brisket promo ending soon, limited time, 25% off, let's say. Let's see what it does with those keywords. Okay, so it gave us 3 options. They're all pretty similar. Don't miss out, our brisket promos ending soon. Enjoy 25% off for a limited time. Hurry, grab yours now. I like that one. So then we insert that. Now that's all written out for us. There's some other things you can add. You can add links in here, which is a good idea because you're working with such small amount of character space. So if they need to read more information about whatever your message is, you could put a link in. So something like that. And then it does reformat your links automatically to help with those character limits. And it does track who clicks on the link in the reporting. So that's why it looks like that in the preview. You can also add emojis. So we could do, I don't know if they have anything that's kind of barbecue related. And then you can even personalize it. So I can maybe say, don't miss out, and then it fills in with their name. So I click personalize. I want it to be their first name. You can have all these different options fill in. You can see all that. We'll just do first name. So don't miss out first name, and then the rest of the message. So as you can see, as I've been adding on to this, the emojis do add quite a bit of characters, and then the link added some. The first name is in there. So now it overflowed to 3 SMS messages. It looks like 3 separate ones over here, but on their phone, it will look like one long message. It's just breaking it out for us so we can see where the overflow is happening. So if you're okay with sending 3 per person, you could leave this, or I could delete the emoji. That would bring it down to 2. Let's go with that. That's okay. So then the message is done, so I can schedule it. This is where I will choose the list and then the day and time I want it to send. So I could send it now or schedule it for later. Maybe the promotion is next week. I'm just kind of getting a head start, and I'll schedule this out for Monday. And then you can choose the time, maybe Monday at 11:30. Now there are quiet hours. So texts will send, it tells you down here to help you remember. They send from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. based on their time zone. So if it's outside of those hours, like super early in the morning or overnight, it won't allow you to send it or schedule it for that time. And that's also part of these laws and different compliance sort of rules out there. It's based on that. So then we choose our list and schedule it. And that's all you have to do. Click done. Now we can see it on our calendar with the rest of our campaigns. And we are good to go. Let me bring that back up for a second. So we can see it's scheduled on the 24th and we're set. So that was actually the quickest and easiest part. Once the list is all squared away, we just fill that in. The AI content generator's super convenient because then I don't even have to think too hard about what I want to say. And now it's scheduled. So the final thing I want to discuss is the reporting that you get back from your text messages. Because we don't have any sent ones yet, we don't have any reporting in this account. So I'll play one more video so we can see what it looks like for a sent message, and then we can go ahead and wrap up after that.
If you've sent an SMS campaign, it's important that you take a look at the reporting and see how it's doing. In this short video, we'll show you where you can find your SMS reporting data. To begin, click Channels and choose SMS from the drop-down. From there, click Details next to the SMS campaign you want to view. On this page, you can see all of the details about your SMS campaign. You can see who it was sent from, the SMS message, who it was sent to, and its current status. You can view the performance data. You can see how many text messages were sent, the percentage of successful deliveries, and the click rate if you included a link in your text message. Use this data to create future SMS campaigns and get even better results. For example, monitor the unsubscribe rate of your SMS campaigns. If you see a trend of increasing unsubscribe rates, try segmenting your lists so you can send more tailored SMS messages. And that's how you can view your SMS campaign reporting with Constant Contact.
All right, so that concludes all our demos. Let's go ahead and talk a little bit how the pricing and the billing works, and then we can go ahead and wrap up and answer a few questions here at the end. So the way it works is it's an add-on for all the different Constant Contact packages, unless you're in premium and it's included. The 0 to 500 message price is all bundled in to the premium plan. So let me go to the next slide so you can see the breakdown of the prices. It is based on the number of messages you send a month. So for example, if you have a list of 1,000 contacts, you're planning on sending to them twice a month, you'd be sending 2,000 messages total. So then you'd go for that 1,001 to 2,500 pricing tier for $45. It's just an add-on on top of your base price. Or like I said, if you have premium, the 0 to 500 tier is included. I would start lower, especially if you're just starting out, because the messages you don't send, it doesn't carry over or anything like that. And it'll always bump you up automatically to a higher package if you go over. And something to keep in mind is the ones you send count against that limit, but also all the automated ones count too. So if you're getting a lot of new subscribers, they're getting that confirmed opt-in text message. That counts towards the limit as well. So you want to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room, but also maybe start a little bit lower and you can work your way up if you would like to and you grow. But with all that, it is Q&A time. We do have a few minutes left to answer some questions. So go ahead and type those in and I will take a look at those and answer them. While everyone's typing in their questions, I did want to let you know about another webinar we have called How to Grow Your List in Constant Contact. I briefly mentioned this earlier. We have a whole hour-long session on these list growth tools. So we got a nice quick little walkthrough of the sign up landing page. But if you want to look at some of the other options, want to talk a little bit more strategy on getting people to sign up for your email and text list, that's a good one to attend. Let me do a little pop-up here One second. This has a link. So that link will take you to the page with all of our webinars, including this one. So sign up for that one if you're interested. Or the other good one to sign up for would be the one about automation. It's called Getting Started with Automated Messages in Constant Contact, because you can automate your texting as well. So it's for email and text. So when you're ready to take things to the next level, that's a good one to sign up for as well. If you're not able to make any of those sessions, that's okay. Still sign up and we'll send you a recording. So attendees and those that don't attend both get the recording. So you can watch that whenever you need, or if you just want to pop in for a few minutes and then leave, all up to you. But let's see what questions I have here. Sarah asks, how do I add it onto my account? Oh, that's a good question. Let me share another pop-up. I actually have one that has the link that you need. And thanks for saying that, because I forgot to share this earlier. So that is a link that'll take you straight to your account. You may need to put in your login information, but then it'll take you into the billing page where you can add that on. So you add it to your plan first, unless, once again, you're in premium, it's already going to be on there. Then make sure to register right away, because you do add it and pay for it. So then I would get the registration process going that same minute. So it's all, you're taking advantage of it right away, especially since it takes a few days to approve and go through. But if that link's not working for anyone, or if you don't have an account yet, it's just something you go to the top right of your account, go into the settings, find your billing information, and it'll be right on there. All right, what else do we have? Michelle asks, what happens if someone replies to the text message? Yeah, that's a good question as well. So our tool is not two-way texting. So it is coming from you to them. They can't reply back. If they do, if they try to send a message back, they will get an automated response from the system. And it says something along the lines of that request cannot be completed. Text the word help to get more help. And then they get another automated message if they text the word help that has your website and phone number that they can call. And then you don't get notified if they respond or anything like that, since it isn't a messaging back and forth. It is just originates here and goes out to them. So if you are wanting them to contact you or follow up in some way, that's why I would recommend adding a link in the text message, or some sort of specific instructions to get in touch with you. But if you maybe link to like a contact us form, or link to a place where they can sign up for an event you're promoting, or just say, call this number and include that in the text message, that's the best way to do it. Because if they're going to try to reach back out to you and reply, it won't go through. That's a good question. That's a common one we get. So I'm glad you asked that. Josh says he's curious about the texting automation. Can I show that? Yeah, let me pull up the account again real quick. And let me make my screen a little bit bigger here. So if we come to here, the automation is down here. And I can build out these automated paths, they're called. And like I said, there's a whole webinar on this. So if you're interested, check that out. But we could come in, there's some templates. And this is for email and text message. So if I wanted to do, there's this birthday SMS one, for example. So you can have it set up to where there's this trigger. On a contact's birthday, it'll launch this workflow. If they're subscribed to your text list, they go down this path and they'll get a text message. If they're not subscribed, they go down this path and they get an email instead. So then for everyone you have a birthday for, they could either get a text or an email depending on what they're subscribed for, and it's all automated. So it's a really good way to build loyalty and stay top of mind, remind them you're there. It's always a nice personal touch too. I always look forward to the birthday messages I get from businesses I'm signed up with. But then, yeah, there's a whole process. Like I said, the webinar, I would sign up for that if you're interested. But when you create the path, then you edit the text and the email just like you would a regular one. The only difference is how you're scheduling it out. You're scheduling it in this automated flow rather than choosing a specific date and time. Although technically in this case, the date is the contact's birthday. All right, any other questions? I don't think so. Okay, well, let's go ahead and wrap up. Just a little bit more information to give you here. And basically, what I just want to let you know as we're wrapping up is we have tons of resources to help you in the future. So if a question comes to mind once we close out, click on the question mark icon in the top right of your account. And that's where you can find tutorials, FAQs. You can get back to our webinar page and see what other webinars are available. There's recordings too, if you just want to watch a recorded one. You can call or chat our support team. We even have something called Ask a Trainer, which is really cool. You pop into a virtual session and there's people just sitting in there waiting for you to join. And then you can get some one-on-one training as well from someone. One last note is when the webinar closes out, there's a survey that pops up. So if you have a minute to answer 4 quick questions, I always read through every single one of those responses. Always love to hear your thoughts. But with all that said, thanks for joining and have a good rest of your day.